Hey guys, this is Nick and welcome to my Linux experiment. These are your Linux, open source and privacy news for the second half of November, so from the 15th to the 30th. Let's go. November the 16th. Hackers already have accessed thousands of Disney Plus accounts and are selling them online. They probably used already available bases of emails and passwords and tried them on the service just to see if they would work. Some users report that they used a password unique to Disney Plus though. Still, it is always a good idea to try and use a different password for each service where your email address is used. Another privacy leak: if you've played Magic the Gathering recently, the video game, not the card game, your credentials might have been accessed. Turns out some of them were just hanging out in an unprotected Amazon Web Services storage bucket, where anyone might have been able to access it. Fortunately, no passwords were compromised, only names, usernames and email addresses, but that's already too much. It's getting hard to trust services that require an account these days. More than 3,800 people have donated to help GNOME fight a patent troll. As you might know, GNOME is under threat from a non-productive company trying to milk some patent or another, specifically one that Shotwell would allegedly infringe on. Software patents continue to be a blight, and it's nice to see the community rally around GNOME to help debunk this case. Money doesn't do everything, but if you don't have any, you sure won't win a court case. The donation goal has been reached already, but if you want to help, head over to the link in the description. November the 18th. Deezer, the French Spotify competitor, released an open source tool that can split a digital song into a separate vocal track, drum track, bass track, and another one containing the rest of the song. This tool, called Splitter, is available on GitHub and based on machine learning. It should make it easier for artists to mash up some parts of songs together or to remix them. November the 19th. The GNOME Shell and Mutter team have launched a blog to be more transparent on their development. It only contains an introductory post for now, but they plan to explain more clearly what they are working on and what features they plan to add, so it will be a good space to watch for GNOME news. November the 20th. DXVK 1.4.5 was released, bringing a bunch of performance improvements and bug fixes, notably for Dirt Rally, Earth Defense Force, Final Fantasy XV, Metal Gear Solid 5 and Metro 2033. On NVIDIA GPUs, games could hang when resizing the window. It should now be fixed. Asynchronous presentation, whatever that could be, is now enabled on all GPUs, which means that games that are CPU bound should now have better performance. SCRCPY, or Screen Copy I guess, is a handy little tool that allows you to display your Android phone screen directly on your computer, as long as the two are connected through USB or TCP/IP. It's available as a snap right now, and as long as you're allowed USB debugging on your phone, it works flawlessly with great performance and great image quality. It doesn't install anything on your device, and now supports gestures to interact directly with the Android phone from your computer's touchscreen, if you've got one. It seems that Google wants to bring Android closer to the mainline Linux kernel, probably to limit the number of patches and changes they need to make to actually build a new version of Android. Their idea would be to decouple the hardware support from the Linux kernel, which would imply huge changes in the way the Linux kernel is managed, and is probably unlikely to happen. We'll have to see how it plays out. Zorin OS 15 Lite has also been released, bringing a lightweight, heavily customized XFCE. It targets Windows 7 users averse to Windows 8 or 10 and brings a really good looking theme to a desktop environment that usually looks pretty drab. It also has all the customizations you'd expect from Zorin, from the dark mode to color variants to adapting the theme to the hour of the day and the macOS 10 or Windows-like layouts. It ships with support for Snap and Flatpak out of the box. It's still based on Ubuntu 18.04 LTS, so it should be pretty solid to use. Zorin OS 15 was a great release, which I really enjoyed when I reviewed it. Maybe I'll give this one a try as well. November the 21st. System76, a computer manufacturer selling Linux-powered machines, will start working on designing and building their own laptops. They already manufacture their own desktops with the Thelio line, which looks amazing, come in a variety of powerful configurations, and are generally looked upon pretty favorably by the community. This would basically make them a fully integrated computer manufacturer designing the hardware and the software that comes with it in the form of Pop! OS, their Ubuntu-based distro. I'm excited to see what they could build from the ground up in terms of laptops. I also hope they ship them with a variety of keyboard layouts, since their current laptops don't come with French keyboards and I need that layout to type these pesky accents. November the 22nd. Glimpse, the rebranded version of GIMP, to avoid the insensitive connotation of the word, has seen its first release. It's basically a simple rebrand right now and has no specific user interface tweaks or features apart from a new name and logo. But this marks the start of that project as an independent piece of software. We'll have to wait to see if this new project gathers speed and manages to outpace GIMP. It's currently available on FlatHub and the Snap Store. OnePlus notified their clients and potential customers that some of their personal information might have been exposed. No payment data or passwords have been stolen, but names, contact numbers, emails, and shipping addresses have definitely been accessed. This just feeds into the growing concerns over entrusting any kind of information to companies, since you have no idea what measures they put in place to protect this data. November the 25th. The Linux kernel version 5.4 has been released with a bunch of new hardware support and new features. It supports a new separation from the root user and the kernel, but this must be configured manually. AMD Navi 12 and 14 GPUs are now fully supported, and the Snapdragon 835, 850 and 855 processors now are supported in the mainline kernel. The exFAT file system drivers are now in staging following Microsoft's open sourcing of this format. Network devices using Realtek 8125 hardware are now supported, and a bunch more exotic hardware support has also been added. The Kernel Newbies wiki has a detailed rundown. I'll leave a link in the description of the video, as always. It seems that the latest version of Zorin OS 15 sends anonymous identifiers for devices to the servers, so they can track the number of active users. The identifier is unique to each machine and not linked to any other data, so no personal information is sent. However, Zorin OS does that by default without asking for consent, which is not a good choice in my opinion. They could at least ask to opt out once the system is installed, just like Ubuntu does with its telemetry data. Wanting to know how many users download and then really use your OS is good, and there is nothing wrong with that, but transparency is key here. Jason Evangelo reported for Forbes in a nice interview with the folks behind Deepin. They broached the topics of the Huawei partnership and the future of Deepin. It's a very interesting interview, and seeing as Deepin is working hard to cater to English speakers and shedding the image of spyware that it doesn't deserve in my opinion, it's interesting to see what they have in store. November the 27th. Mozilla has lost revenue from 2018 to 2019 at a staggering rate of minus 20%. This is not good news, since these guys are the last web engine competing with the all-powerful Chromium. A single engine running the whole web has always been a terrible state of affairs, even if that engine is open source, and Firefox is the only real competitor right now, even with its shrinking market share. Let's hope Mozilla can make things right again. After many worries and delays, the Librem 5 is now shipping to backers. Technically, at the time of this video's release, all backers from the Birch batch should have gotten their devices. It seems that this batch is much improved compared to the previous one, hardware and software-wise, which is good news. We should see some reviews popping up pretty soon about this phone. I didn't get one since I don't think it's a good value for the price, but I'll be following it closely anyways. November the 30th. Proton 4.11-9 was released and is already available in Steam's preferences. It's a small release which fixes a performance regression on 32-bit games using D9VK and DXVK, brings back force feedback on steering wheels, and correctly reports the right amount of GPU memory for certain GPUs. Epic Games awarded Lutris with their $25,000 mega grant. Epic doesn't seem to have any official interest in supporting Linux with their Epic Games Store, but the fact that this same exact store runs great with Lutris, and some of its games as well, makes me think this might be an encouragement to try and make things work somehow. I've been playing Borderlands 3 and The Outer Worlds from the Epic Games Store thanks to Lutris install scripts and a little bit of tweaking, so surely things can't be that far off. Wine 4.21 was released, bringing HTTP proxy configuration, more DLL converted to the Linux executable format, and some DirectX 9 fixes. 50 bugs are marked as fixed in that release, including Star Citizen, Crysis, EverQuest Classic, Gothic 2 or Splinter Cell Blacklist. And that's it for November. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. If you did, don't hesitate to like, subscribe and turn on notifications. If you really did like the video, I have a Patreon page. I'll leave a link in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!